Hi, folks. I keep getting prompters that I'm supposed to speak out. So I decided to give another try to one of my little rants um, and explanations of what I'm up to. For those who have known me for a long, long time, um, I am very, very passionately interested in fascist propaganda tactics, as well as um, what's going on with American politics, and my specialized interest is what's going on in Congress with the House. And in election time, I'm always looking at the hidden districts that everybody forgets about and doesn't pay any attention to, including sometimes, unfortunately, the Democratic Party. So I get frustrated about it, but never mind. Those two projects are now intersecting in ways that are driving me completely nuts, completely crazy. And today just happens to be the day when uh, Elon Musk is now owner of Twitter, and we don't know what he's going to do because he says he doesn't want to make it a hellscape. But he well could make it the biggest. He could become the the, the biggest promoter of global disinformation that we've ever seen. Because we don't know, but he just might bring back the former guy, Alex Jones, uh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Elon. Sorry, I'm talking about the two guys at the same time, always in the news. Um, and yay. Oh, yay. Um, ugh, it's just, and this is all about free speech. Right. Well, we haven't heard so much from Alex Jones lately, but when he was uh, told that he's going to have to pay $1 billion that he'll never pay to the victims of his defamation, um, well, he was saying that he's going to continue fighting for free speech. Oh, that just happens to be what Elon Musk is fighting for. And what was going on in the Judiciary Committee that they put together, these three words in the Senate Judiciary, Kanye, Musk, Trump, huh? And supposedly this is a tweet that's still out there. Who's who? Why? What? Um, these guys are just so out there, and it's very scary. But I haven't given up hope. We've got so many good guys. And yet, my frustration has been that the things I try to tell people about um, well, they don't get much attention. They're not popular. And I've asked, why is this? And one of the answers was, it's just too overwhelming. When I start talking about all the connections between Russia, and the entire MAGA network. Um, so I came across a really interesting, beautiful meme from Maya Angelou recently, and I can only paraphrase it because I can't find it again. But she was talking about how people will forget what you say and do, but they'll always remember how you feel. And I've been thinking a lot about that a lot, wondering if my sometimes obsession with these horrible things that are going on in how uh, the fascist propaganda is working on our minds, um, how overwhelming it is, and people just shut down. They really have to shut down. I have to shut down all the time, and to the point where I haven't had anything to say for months, especially after I discover another new thing that's important, and I get maybe 6 people see it or like it or whatever, or notice and want to discuss it, and I just give up all the time. So the things that I'm trying to make people aware of, that a lot of people have no idea, um, they make people feel really uncomfortable and overwhelmed. And that's a major challenge for what we're going through, as a whole, in trying to save democracy. Um, because what's going on with the other side is the propaganda, the disinformation. It makes those people feel good. It makes them feel superior. They laugh. They're mocking us. They get together in their big mega churches and feel so proud, and they're the best. And it's understandable. They don't want to know anything that's going on in terms of the 1-6 committee, and you know, the cognitive dissonance is there because that'll make them feel bad. Meanwhile, we're totally outraged and upset. So we start to call them fascist. And this is the kind of thing that escalates into the culture war that we're going on. That's going on, and it's another reason why I tend to stay silent, because this the more you know, the more you recognize how fast and easy the escalation can happen. And uh, so um, I have a new interesting friend who's always quoting from Duty to Warn. So I'm basically on duty to warn to try and get to this thing of, like, please, we've got to not blame those who have fallen for the lies, the gullible. It was a mistake to call them deplorables. Now we've got a situation where, Lindsey Graham is saying Herschel Walker is proof that the entire uh, Republican Party is not racist. Look at this proof. And if you vote for Herschel Walker, you will prove to the nation that they aren't racist. Oh, so, oh. Double speak. Because you got Kanye at the same time. On the other side, totally anti-Semitic, but whatever. I don't even like to think about him at all. I wanted to be short. I didn't even eat anything, so I would be hungry, so I would get through this as quickly as possible. I even wanted to title it, They Have No Idea. Because if there's anything I want to push in this rant today, don't blame the people. Blame the perpetrators of the lies, and know where they're coming from, and go after them, and not the people on the ground who have fallen for them. That's point one. I know you want to call them stupid and all that other kind of stuff. Look, right now, we're in a situation where just over a week before the midterms, there's only a sliver of the electorate left that everybody's going after. It's under 5%. and nobody knows what's going to happen. All these races are just super close, and all this other. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some. I refuse to be either optimistic or pessimistic. I'm going to wait and see. I just don't know. Um, I am still willing to be a little bit more optimistic about the Senate than the House, but we might have surprises, and that's the other thing I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So in terms of this thing about how how the disinformationists and propagandists make their people feel, they remember that the most. And they don't want to be taken out of that with knowledge of the truth. I saw an interesting documentary last night on John F. Kennedy, and it was going into the time when he was in Europe before the war. And he was watching how happy Hitler was making the Germans. And I found that so interesting. It turned out that due to his disabilities, particularly with his back, he couldn't enter the war to be on the ground in Germany. But, you know, he recognized and watched what happened in terms of that feel-good atmosphere that Hitler was able to create. And it's something we cannot take for granted, and we need to recognize it as we get into this last stretch. Because those people that are so gullible, they don't watch any mainstream news. They don't, it's not even just that they don't care, but they've been convinced all mainstream news is fake. And so they don't know anymore what's really going on. They have no idea. And so it's important to talk with them at some level of forgiveness, because we've literally had millions who have had families broken up, friendships broken up, everywhere. I mean, it's also happening in Europe, but in the United States, it's just wild and crazy. Just stop talking to each other entirely. And there's no possibility to heal if we don't, especially before the elections. But at some point, we need to work on healing. Now, what I find is you can find internal ways to be forgiving towards the gullible. Mostly for yourself, because you're probably going to have to accept that you still can't talk to them because they're unreasonable. But the biggest, most important focus is to separate them, differentiate them from those who spread the lies and who they are and why they've done it. Oh, God, I'm going on way too long. I'm upset with myself. All right. So, I'm going to diverge just slightly into my this global disinformation machine project, which I've been into for years, because I found out some new information I didn't realize before. and that is about Putin's chef, um, Prigozhin. Prigozhin has been a part of Putin's network since the 90s, and then Putin made him a millionaire by doing all this culinary thing where he started first he was cooking uh, mostly for Putin and his parties, and then he established the whole thing to cater to all of the government's activities, and he became a big millionaire. And then um, he ended up doing what's it called? The Internet Research Agency, which is um, the ones who did troll farms before the elections when they promoted um, um, the former guy, that guy in 2015, 2016. They got all these troll farms started, which to my knowledge could be easily still going on all over the world. They really like working them out of Africa, whatever. I'm not going to go there because I don't have a lot of information. Okay, Prigozhin also funded a television uh, channel that Dugan is associated with, and Dugan has been very closely associated with Alex Jones. And I think that connection is important to know um, by anybody and everybody. Um, they also work together with a guy named John Hannock, who is a former um, producer at Fox News, and that was several years. John Hannock is a very major evangelist evangelist type. So he's a part of this whole network, as well as the NRA. They're all still very, very, very closely connected. And um, it always freaks me out to see how many links there are. Anyway, in terms of John Hannock, formerly of Fox News, that goes all the way back to 2013. He has been sanctioned and charged in London, and they actually arrested him. So at least he's not a part of the picture now, and that's been a very quiet thing. All right. The other thing I want to say about Prigozhin is that he um, started the Wagner Group, and the Wagner Group is the most, well, it's a private terrorist organization is what it is, that is fighting in Ukraine. It's also fought in Africa. There's not a whole lot known about it, and Prigozhin himself is recruiting felons because he has been a former felon himself, so he can relate to murderers and rapists, although he was convicted and sentenced for 9 years for robbery. But that's the kind of people that Putin pulls up and makes into millionaires. I think they're from the same town, so St. Petersburg, so whatever. Two latest things that I've picked up on with Prigozhin is that, or no, the most latest, he's gone, or he's got his people from the Wagner Group going to Afghanistan, where they are recruiting those Afghans that we, the United States, trained and made them experts. So not only is he putting murders and rapists on the ground, plus the completely and totally untrained that are going on with the general military. I mean, they don't even know where they are when they get sent to Ukraine. Um, it's just unbelievable. Those who don't know me uh, may not realize that I have my personal connection to Ukraine because my ex-husband, um, who I was together with in the 90s, is Ukrainian, but he was also a Russian soldier. So we're still in touch, and um, it's it's very, very challenging to watch because when you know somebody like that, it's like family, and so you feel like you've got family, even though we've been divorced for years. Um, this family association is really hits you, and I mean, I was in Kiev with him, I was in Moscow with him, I was on the Red Square, so uh, that's part of the reason why. Well, plus the fact that here I am in Berlin, and I was obsessed, not totally obsessed, but I was very, very concerned with how did these Germans turn into Nazis? And a lot of it was they had no idea. So, or they had a gun to their head. You do it, or you die, or you're, and you know, in the situation now, you know, you join as a loyalist, or your reputation will be ruined, a la Cheney, a la Kinzinger. I don't know how many others. I mean, you know, the rhinos are really having their difficulties, but they're the only. They may be the only ones that can save us right now, because the what I call the GQP is really having the worst influence that has ever hit our country. I mean, this is worse than McCarthy days um, in the 50s. It's just, they are disinformationists of the worst sort. Ah, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a really quick rundown of the GOP myths that they spread. Um, and then I'm going to wrap it up as fast as I can. Oh, great. Where are they? I can't believe. Here they are. No. I have a list that was right in front of my eyes, and that is, of course, it's gone. Here we go. The top 10, and now it's 20. I think there's more. GQP lies. Now, what I wanted to do with this list, maybe somebody can help me work with it, is I wanted to show, I have to do this another time. The old GOP myths and the ones they're using now. But I'm just going to run through this quickly. Biden stole the 2020 election. Democrats are bad for the economy. Teachers are sexualizing your children. CRT is taught in schools. Democrats want to take away your guns. Democrats want to kill babies with abortion. Democrats will raise your taxes. All mainstream media has a liberal bias. Democrats refuse to protect our borders. You can't trust scientific experts. Climate change is a hoax. Biden caused inflation. Russians didn't interfere in our elections. Election workers rigged the vote. Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. Antifa was behind the 1/6 insurrection. Democrats are weak on crime. Liberals are racist against whites. Democrats are censoring free speech. Socialism is fascist, and Democrats are socialists. So, um, you could spend uh, anywhere from 5 minutes or from 1 minute to an hour on each and every one of the 20 points 20 big lies that I just put out there. And you could explain how some of them have been around for decades, some of them are brand new, and they are affecting the election in ways that are just unbelievable. Because people believe that list that I just said, and all of it are complete and total lies. Total lies. And we aren't good at addressing them and confronting um, the other side with really quick, simple truth that are as fast as saying any one of those 20 lies. We don't have the time right now to be able to go through that and get things turned around. But that's the direction that's got to happen at least before 2024. So I'm going to end with, let's try to stay focused on the activists and the helpers now. I've done a project where I've listed the key House races, and we've got 54 endangered Democrats, and they only have less than 30 endangered Republicans, and they are not seriously endangered. There's hardly any of them in toss-ups. And it's been that way for months. So it's not going to be a situation where we didn't try. But that list that I just put out is more influential than us looking at where the key House races are and targeting the way they target with their billions, literally billions of dollars. So let's try to forgive and do our best to make people feel good regardless. Look for the helpers and activists. Support them. That list that the key U.S. House races is a Google document that you can find and copy and know and follow, and just get in touch with me on Facebook. I'm also Jazzaniva at AOL.com. I'm going to put this on YouTube. I've got more old tapes about the same thing. So focus on the good folks fighting for us, with us, and be thankful. Because if there's anything I want to learn better, is leaving people with a good feeling, regardless of all this terribleness I talk about. My anger will not um, make people feel better. And I want to land with gratitude that somebody listened to me at all. And I'm really, really grateful to that. And I'm going to just accept if only 5 people see this. That's the way it is. I just thank you anyway. I am so loving those hundreds of people I know personally that are with us, and know thousands who know tens of thousands. And we're going to have some impact. It's going to be all right. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.